All right, so it's 7:56. Going to get started right around 8 o'clock with a little recap and go from there and see how it goes this time. Format looks a little bit different, but I'm sure we'll figure it out. Hey, Chris. I guess somebody figured out how to use the chat here, so we'll see how that goes. We're going to start right around 8. All right, well, I got 8 o'clock here. This may be a relatively short video, but just want to kind of give everybody a recap as to what's been going on with my hike um, since the middle of July, basically, and where I've been and what's going on and where I'm at right now. So where I'm at right now is I'm at the beach on vacation, recuperating my knees and feet and trying to get some gear repaired and replaced. My pack had a failure, and the company's right here nearby, so I'm driving it over them tomorrow to get fixed. But back in the middle of July, I ended up doing a flip flop. And for those of you that don't know, a flip flop is you start in one section of the trail and then you jump to another section and go back and finish where you started from. So in my case, I started in Georgia. I made it all the way to Harper's Ferry, and I made the hard decision to jump up to Maine to get through to Katahdin to complete the hike up Katahdin on by October 15th, because there's a deadline up there, and also that due to the weather changes that were coming up. I also had equipment issues at that time that I had to fix, and so it gave me a couple of days to get everything squared up, replaced, get resupplied, get to Maine, work out the logistics to get into Baxter State Park and do the Katahdin Summit. So I got all that done relatively easily with help of friends and family. And Wayne and Monson gave a big help by picking me up in Bangor and bringing me to Monson and resupplying me in the middle of the 100-mile wilderness and then picking me up at Katahdin. So that was a huge assist. And when we got back from Katahdin, we hiked down to through the southern part of Maine together and picked up a lot of miles that way. Um, So one of the surprising big benefits of doing a flip flop for me was all the people that I had hiked with down south are still going north, and I started seeing them on the trail again, and they'd recognize me and say, "Hey, it's Sunny Jim," and I go, "Oh, look, it's Smooth Rock or Tapo or any of these other folks that I've run into, Woody." A bunch of people that I met, at different times along the trail. I even ran into two people that we started in Georgia on the same day, and I ran into them at different times down the trail. And it's like, well, that's kind of neat. So it's always good to see people that are still going at it and hiking through the trail. So that was an added bonus for me. Another benefit of it was I got to summit with a new group of folks. And we had a good time going up there. They were very helpful and encouraging, and helped an old man up the mountain, if you will, and they were a fun group to deal with, and we also had beautiful weather too. So the sometimes you make the flip flop to get different weather type of conditions, and I definitely had the best weather on August 1st for my summit. It was a gorgeous day, and it was just exactly what I wanted to have on that. Um, One of the things that people say, oh, it's easier to go, excuse me, northbound or southbound. I'm not sure. You still got to climb all the mountains and go down all the hills, and some are easier going down than up, and I guess that's arguable. But both of them were very challenging. Excuse me. Following South Maine, we entered into New Hampshire, and one of the hardest sections I did was the Mahoosic Arm, which is a steep downhill going into the Mahoosic Notch. So you go down about 1,600 feet in a mile, which is about a 25% slope, and that was a big challenge for me. Very hard on the knees, very slippery, but it worked out all right. Going through the whites, they have something there called work for stay. So at the huts, you can go in there to the hut and say, hey, do you have any work for stay? And you can sleep on the floor, and you do some random chores that they need done, and you get a free dinner, and then maybe you get some breakfast in the morning as well. So that was a way that I was able to make it through the whites without having to resupply too often. Of course, the whites were pretty hard on my gear, and I busted more gear on that, and I'm trying to get that fixed this week as well. But one of the things I've learned is with all the gear that you get on the trail, um, you you have an opportunity to get warranty repairs on a lot of it. So you just have to know to ask for it, go look for it, and see what you can get. A lot of times people just think, oh, it's not a big deal, just buy another one. Well, the trail really destroys stuff, and I'm pretty hard on this on the gear as well. So sometimes you get it and sometimes you don't. But if you don't ask, you'll never get it. So just something to keep in mind if you're doing that. Um, Another piece of news: ramen is now back on my menu. I got tired of it a while back, and so I said, like, I can't face it anymore. Um, but now I have ramen back in there. What I've done is I've taken the soy ramen, added a big heavy spoonful of chunky peanut butter to that, and then a handful of peanuts, and so you get kind of like a pad thai sort of mishmash, and it just seems to be a lot more palatable. So I've been sneaking that into my diet. And the last thing I just wanted to kind of cover is take the benefit of taking zeros. So most of the young kids go out there, they do their zeros one or two a week. Um, I'm doing all of my zeros at once. Basically, I'm taking like 10 days to recover and recoup. It's a little different. I find that when I do a 0, the next day I'm just slow and just can't get moving. So this way it gives me a whole time to kind of recover and get everything worked out and hopefully get back on track. So there's a lot of different ways of doing the trail. Um, none of them are really wrong. And then following this week, I'll get back on the trail up in Hanover, going up to Dartmouth. I'll pick up from Lou's Restaurant where I was picked up by my wife, and then continue through Vermont, Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, and point south. So back to Harper's Ferry. So I got about 700 miles to go. People tell me it's the easy 700 miles. I'll tell you right now, there hasn't been any real easy miles out on the trail. Even the nice cruisy stuff has been a little bit difficult to deal with. So that's pretty much where I stand right now. I don't have a whole lot to add to it. I will say that there's been a lot of news and buzz about the fastest known times hikers. I had the opportunity to see John Kelly make his attempt. He failed due to injury. I missed Christian Morgan, who was going from a southbound fastest known time. He came flying down Katahdin probably about 20 minutes before I started going up. So he had an early start at midnight, and he was gone before I even got to the trailhead. So I didn't get to see him. But I did get to see a hiker that was doing a self-supported hike. Her name was Gazelle. I saw her down in Georgia at Station 19, in Georgia, no, I think it was Tennessee, Station 19E on Memorial Day. And then I saw her again in the 100-mile wilderness as she was getting close to finishing her hike. And she's very inspirational, a very strong woman. She did complete it. She got her fastest known time in spite of having norovirus in the middle of the trip as well. So it was good seeing her. She helped inspire me to get to my first hut in the 100-mile wilderness and get moving again. And so it's always nice to see somebody like that. And yes, Griselle is awesome. I got to agree with that. She was. I would say she carried me up the hill. She virtually carried me up the hill. It was just and she got some emotional support from me because I was cheering her on because I was so excited to see her. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now. I don't know. I'm having problems seeing all the if there's any questions. I see. Okay, I got them all now, so that's good. So yeah, it's if you have any questions, I'm here to answer them. If you don't have any, I can wind this up short and get back to vacationing and relaxing and recovering. So this of course will be saved and available for other people to see. But yeah, if you have anything that you want to know about, that's what I'm here for, and I'll give you a few minutes to ask those questions or type them in the chat, and I'll respond. So when do I expect to finish? That's the $100 million question. So I just did some math sitting at the beach while I was writing my notes, and the if I do 15 miles a day, which was kind of what I was hoping for, I can be done in about 42 days. And that's that's going through Roxylvania and making some big pushes. Averaging 15 miles a day is pretty tough for me. So I was probably going to be closer to 50 to 55 days that I'll finish. The green stickers that I had under my hat, those were mosquito stickers that were supposed to have, I guess they had citronella in there. It was supposed to scare away mosquitoes, and it didn't work all that well. I mean, they worked okay. It was just something different. The mosquitoes, the bugs out there on the trail have not been that bad this time of year. And DEET works really well. But now I don't have to worry too much about it. So I'm kind of hiking past the mosquito season. The advantages again going south is that I'll be staying in the warmer weather. I'm hoping to not add my winter gear or all my winter gear. I am changing over my gear. I'm adding base layers and gloves to my kit to make sure I have that, so I don't fall into a dangerous situation. Um, but that's pretty much about the biggest change. Food has continued to be a challenge for me because I still burn between 4 to 5,000 calories a day, and I seem to consume between 2 and 3. Uh, my weight's at the low. I weigh probably just not much more than what I did when I graduated from high school, which is kind of scary. Um, Temperatures going back to Harpers Ferry should be perfect. I'm really expecting that to be the case. The biggest concern right now is the water situation in Pennsylvania and New York. I've heard some bad things about that, but I also heard bad things about the water in Maine and New Hampshire, and I actually found it was quite manageable. One of the best things I had was using the Far Out app and staying on top of the um, current situation there. So, when I realized I'd have to do a 10-mile hike, I would fill up on water, drink a lot of water, and carry a full load to make sure I had enough to get through all of that. Um, Interesting, and speaking of the water situation, interestingly, through the past week before this, Dartmouth has a freshman orientation, and the Dartmouth Outdoors Club has a basically the freshman orientation. They go out there and they do hikes through the trail. Some do just day hikes, some are camping and everything like that. So you end up sharing your campsite with a bunch of freshmen, and they don't necessarily understand all of the etiquette of being quiet in a campground at night. So that was kind of a bit of a challenge, but it went fine. They were all for the most part pretty good kids, and I found some of them very interesting. And then the week of Labor Day, Brown University had their rising sophomores out there in a program in the White Mountains. So I had to experience dealing with a whole bunch of these young best and brightest, and I'm watching them how they do their cutting and food preparation, and I'm thinking like, well, they got a lot to learn. Fortunately, they're not going to culinary school, so I think the world will be fine with them out there. But overall, good group of kids, and they were all very polite. So unless there's any more questions, I'll give it a wrap. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that was interesting out there on the trail. Not a lot of animal life, and we have a lot more. I got a lot more trail coming up. I am concerned about the snakes in Pennsylvania. I understand that there's a heavy population of rattlers there, so I will see what happens then. So um, that's what I got for y'all, and hope you enjoyed it. This will probably be my last live until maybe sometime after the trip. Hopefully, I will get all of my videos um, together and get the get them strung together so that they're somewhat more edited. I know my shorts are shorts, and I did that on purpose because, well, it's quick and easy, and I just wanted to get the news out there as to what's going on. But that's the thing. If you want, check out Ramdino. I've been featured on him as well at various times, and so he's a good resource for everything hiking, and I just wish everybody the best. I want to thank everybody that supported me along the way and provided assistance. It really means a lot. It helps keep me going, and um, everybody that's done that, and so it's a long list, but it really does mean a lot, and it helps. It's that push, and that's what's going to get me past this next 700 miles, is because everybody that helped, I don't want to let them down, as well. So, all right, well, I'll call it a wrap then. I just make sure I don't have any other messages there. And I'll go figure out who that is, and then we'll see who's who. And so yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm going to see people on the trail again, and I'm going to try to catch up with some of the guys that I left in Hanover. So that's one of the reasons I'm going to try to push big miles early on, to see them, because I had a lot of fun hiking with this one guy from Texas, Mr. Clean. He's doing a good job. One of the things I would say is that, again, from his lesson, is do your research early, figure out what it is you need, figure out what works for you. If you don't know what was going to work for you, go see an outfitter and see what they say and get their opinions early on, rather than spending $1,500 at REI and then getting rid of everything, or re-gearing to different stuff because it didn't work. If you see an outfitter, maybe they can set you up right away with exactly what you need. It might be a little bit more expensive, but you might have a more successful hike. I did it the hard way. I figured it out on my own. And when I looked at what I equipped myself with versus what the outfitters are doing, I'm probably about 85 to 90% of what they recommend. So I feel like it's hard, but again, sometimes it's the satisfaction of doing your own research. So, good luck to anybody that wants to do that. And if anybody has questions, I do try to go back and read comments in the YouTubes, and I'm more than happy to talk to anybody at any time about, the experience or what will work. So, try to find me and go figure that out. And no, I can't be an outfitter because that's a full-time job, and I'm retired now. So, all right, well, we'll call it a wrap. And again, thanks again for all your questions. And we'll see you out on the trail. If you find me, just say hi. I've seen a bunch of people at different times, and it's always fun popping into folks. So, y'all take care, and go out and hike the AT. Do 10 miles. Have fun. And I'll see you next time. All right. Bye now.